never ask for permission. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. This is what I call a permission question. Are you interested? How many times do you ask your customers or your prospects, are you interested? Do you have time? Would you like to? Is it okay? You see, these are all called permission questions. And anytime you ask for permission, you know you're going to get a no. So write this down right from the beginning. Stop inviting no into the conversation. Again, operating your gift, know who you are, know who you were created to be. When fear comes in, fear is going to try to always creep in. Don't let fear stop you. And for goodness sake, that imposter syndrome, you are not an imposter. God does not create imposters. You are real, and you are fearfully and wonderfully made.
We the 3%ers. Yeah. We the 3%ers. Yeah. You gotta know what your word. Don't need more than just words. We don't just talk it, we live it. You want it, go get it, then put in that word. We're the
3. Hoorah! Welcome to another episode of the 3% Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Steve Wilmer. This is not a therapy session. Get to work or get off my podcast. Keep scrolling. We're looking for those individuals who want to take their income, their mindset to the next level. Only 3% of people earn $250,000 a year. Ask yourself, are you one of them or are you trying to get there? We can help. So today I'm going to start off with another question. I keep getting questions from people, and thank you so much, guys, for subscribing to this channel. Continue to share the channel. Continue to let other people know about it as well. So one of the questions that we got asked has something to do with overcoming objections. And when I was talking with the client, he was basically telling me the questions he was asking. So today's episode, I totally scrapped what I was going to talk about. Today, we're going to talk about specifically his issue and why he was having trouble overcoming the objection. So today's episode, I'm going to talk to you guys about never asking for permission. So if you're struggling with sales, maybe you're uncomfortable with sales, I promise you, me and my team can help you with that. So how do we overcome objections? You never ask for permission. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. This is what I call a permission question. Are you interested? How many times do you ask your customers or your prospects, are you interested? Do you have time? Would you like to? Is it okay? You see, these are all called permission questions. And anytime you ask for permission, you know you're going to get a no. So write this down right from the beginning. Stop inviting no into the conversation. Stop inviting the word no into the conversation. Here's what you have to remember. Write this down as well. You must learn how to make it easy for your customer to say yes. You got to make it hard for them to say no. And the key is this: it must be their idea. No one likes being told what to do. No one likes being pushed around. No one likes being guided or pushed into a corner. But it's the questions that we ask. Make it easy for them to say yes. Make it hard for them to say no, but at the same time, it's got to be their idea. Now listen, this is important. This is not some sales strategy, not some sales technique. It's nothing that's underhanded. This is literally you doing what's best for your customer. And so you got to make sure that you're able to do that. All right, so let's dive into this. This topic, guys, is really stronger than what you may think it is. And here's the reason why. Anytime you're asking your customer for permission, this topic is more important and it's stronger than what you may believe that it is. And here's the reason why. Anytime you're asking for permission, you, with a customer or a prospect, you position yourself below the customer. Is it okay? Do you mind? But anytime you get agreement from the customer, now you position yourself as the advisor, as the expert in whatever it is you're talking to the customer about. So I don't ask, are you interested? Do you mind? Is it okay? I get agreement. You tell me, would it be important to you to earn multiple six figures? You got to tell me, is that important to you? And what are you doing in order to get there? Do you have a system in place? Well, why not? How much money did you leave on the table last year? What are you going to do differently this year? You tell me. Would it make sense to change what you're doing? Would it be a smart thing to do? See, I position myself as the advisor. I don't position myself lower than the customer. So very, very important. So you got to make sure you're never asking for permission. All right. Is it okay? Would you like to? Do you mind? Listen to this. It has to be a massive difference between, because we talked about question, but it has to be a massive difference between business questions, policy questions, technical questions, and authentic questions, real questions, emotional questions, questions that move the needle. We got to make sure we're asking the right type of questions. Remember this, or write this down. Authenticity gets you paid more. Are you just going to have a technical question about your product, your service, what it can do? Or are you going to have a truly authentic question? So why do most salespeople, or those who want to get into sales, why do you have an issue with asking these type of questions? And the number one thing that I see, the reason you're afraid to ask those type of questions is because of fear. We used to call it, oh golly, I don't want to say the name of the company. So, so there's a company, a really, really big, a lot of my clients, work for this company. And so the joke is being, I'm going to call it, what I want to call the company. I'm just going to say Big Red. So there's a company, Big Red. And so as we're talking with with customers, the people that work there, I say, you're just trying to be Big Red nice. You're trying to be Big Red nice. So that's why you're asking for permission. Now, it's one thing to be nice with the customer, but let me tell you this. Nice conversations don't move the needle. Honest conversations move the needle. You and I both know that if we have a friend, if we have somebody that's trying to help us, if we have someone who's trying to get us to the next level, we're not looking for nice. We're looking for real. We're looking for authenticity. We don't want to be around people that make us feel comfortable. We should want to be around people who tell us the truth and make us feel uncomfortable. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be crude. You don't have to be hurtful. You don't have to be offensive intentionally. Like I can tell you right now, some of the things that I say to people, it automatically offends them. Some of you with watching my podcast, you may be offended as well. But it's not my intention to offend you. You just don't like hearing the truth. Do you want to know the number one person who offended so many people was Jesus? I mean, think about it. If you're a believer, go back and read your word. Oh, he offended people all the time, but he told the truth. His intention was not to offend. His intention was to set free. His intention was to set free those people who were captive. His intention was to bring revelation, but that offended a lot of people. 3% Mindset Podcast, hear me when I say this. It's not my intention to offend you, but my words may offend because what it does is we say a hit dog will holler, right? What it does is it calls you out for you not doing the things that you know you need to do. Like if I say, hey, get up off your butt and stop being lazy. To some people, that may be offensive. But to some people, you're going to go, you know what? You're right. I have been lazy and I should get up off my butt if I want to get to the next level. So you're afraid. You're afraid to offend the customer. You're afraid that you may lose the sale. The problem is this. I am 100% about being open and honest with my customers. If you truly know that you have something that can help the customer, you have to be open and honest with the customer. Here are a couple of questions that I ask a customer if I believe that they're the type of people that may be offended. Or what if I start having a conversation with them and I can tell that they're starting to get offended? I ask these questions and I know the answer I'm going to get every single time. Question number one. Let's say your name is Bob. I'll say, you know what, Bob, let me ask you this. When you deal with any company at all, do you like dealing with companies who lie to you or tell you the truth? What do you think he's going to say? The same thing you would say. I want to deal with companies who tell me the truth. Question number two. But what if me telling you the truth makes you feel uncomfortable? Do you want to lie or do you still want the truth? We all know exactly what you're going to say. Here's the next question. Okay. What if me telling you the truth makes me feel uncomfortable? Do you want to lie or do you still want the truth? I guarantee you, every single time you ask those questions, you're going to get the answer you want every time. I want the truth. I want the truth. I want the truth. So what that does is now that gives you permission to deliver the truth. Whatever the truth may be, and whatever your product, whatever your service, whatever it is you're trying to talk to the customer about, it gives you the permission now to ask questions or say things that most people may feel, oh, that's offensive. Okay? So start asking some of those questions. So most of the times you're afraid of being rejected. You're afraid of being pushy. So if you will just ask those questions up front, it kind of gives you a little leeway, if you will. Another thing that you can ask to be able to ask questions is, I'm just curious. All right. You can say, hey, I'm just curious, and then ask your question. It softens everything. It softens your language. And you got to think about this. Would it be more important to tell the truth to your customer or to be able to hide something from your customers? I don't know about you, but I always want to tell the truth. I always want to be upfront with my customer. So let's really take a deep dive into this. Are you interested? Again, I call that a permission question. You don't know if the customer is going to say yes or no. That's more of a logical question. And you'll learn that people don't buy based on logic. Most people buy based on emotion. So are you interested? No emotion. Logical. You may get a yes or you get a no. Change it to a question like, would it make sense? And then fill in the blank with the problem that you solve. So are you interested in my services? Are you interested in doing business with me? Are you interested in working with me? Or even not even this one. Are you interested in taking your income to the next level? No. Would it make sense? Would it make sense for you to earn more money? Would it make sense to leave a legacy? You tell me, would it make sense to go on from making $50,000 a year to $250,000 a year? You got to tell me, would that make sense to you or not? Most people will say, well, yes, that would make sense. Whatever it is that you're selling, don't make it about the product or the service. Would it make sense is a good question to ask about the outcome of the service or the product. Would it make sense to have great health? Would it make sense for more people to see you? Again, whatever your business is, all right, would it make sense? Another one is, would that be a smart thing to do? These are all, I call these buy-in questions. You make it, again, you got to make it hard for the customer to say no. You make it easy for them to say yes, and it has to be their idea. It's not me telling you, I'm going to help you make $250,000. I'm going to help you take this. I want to do this. I want to do that. I. Salespeople talk about it makes you seem very selfish. I never tell my clients or my prospects what I want to do for them. I let them know what I can do for them, but it's totally up to them. I want to help you make money. You'll never hear me say that. That's a statement. Statements do not require a response. Do you want me to help you take your income to the next level? Do you want me to help you make $250,000? Do you want my help? Because I'm an expert in that area. My team and I have developed a system that we can help you get to that next level. But you have to tell me if you want my help. How much money, you know my favorite go-to, right? How much money did you leave on the table last year? How much money are you going to leave on the table this year? What are you going to change from last year to this year? You tell me what's going to be the difference. What are you going to change? And if you don't change anything, then nothing changes. So I never ask for permission. We got to make sure we're asking those buy-in questions. Amateurs ask for permission. So let me go through some of the buy-in questions again. Write these down. Would it make sense? Would that be important to you? Would that be a smart thing to do? Am I right? Would you agree? Let's just start with those. And you don't have to use them all. Pick maybe one or two or three, whatever the case may be, and just kind of sprinkle them through the conversation. Okay, am I right? Would you agree? You must get agreement. How can two walk together? Unless they be in agreement. Now, let's talk about the psychology, the mindset. Once again, sales is so much more than a word track. It takes the mind of a what? It takes the mind of a champion. So there is psychology to asking better questions. I believe that people hate being sold to, but we love to buy. Like, I hate a pushy salesperson. Oh my gosh. I hate a pushy salesperson. A pushy salesperson, I don't care what it is. I don't care if I need your service or your product. I will not buy from you any day at all. So you don't be pushy. Instead, you are assertive. Well, Steve, what's the difference? A pushy salesperson is trying to convince you to buy what they have. That is not what we do. An assertive salesperson simply asks you more questions to determine if what your problem is, they can solve for you. That's the difference between the two. So, don't be that pushy salesperson. You're always trying to push something on somebody and try to tell them why they need you and how great you are. It's all about the questions that you start to ask. Now, people love making smart decisions. They love being the hero. So when you hear me say, you have to make it easy for them to say yes. I want to make a smart decision. So, hey, do you want to earn more money? Well, yes. Would that be important to you? Well, of course it would. Well, why would that be? Why would it be important to you to go from 50,000 to 100,000? Why would it be important to go from 100,000 to 250,000? How would that change? How would that change your situation? How would that change your family situation? What are some of the things that you will be able to do then that you're not able to do right now? You see, people love making smart decisions. Okay, I'll even ask customers sometimes about making smart decisions, right? And sometimes they'll say things like, "Yeah, I don't know, haven't been too smart." And I say this, hey, nothing better than the president start making smarter decisions. Would you agree? Did you see that? That's a buy-in. Would you agree? Yeah. Okay, we call it the bobblehead. You want your customer going, yeah. Oh no, yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, you're right. I do want that. And if you're asking the right questions, that's what you will get. So that's why wording matters. When you ask, would you like to, you are making a commitment. You are. The person is, the customer is. Would you like to do this? Would it make sense to do that? And when you say yes, you are making a commitment to move forward. You're making a commitment that this is what you want to do. It goes to the third part. This is not my decision. It's your decision. It's your decision. The three most powerful words to overcome an objection are you told me. You told me you wanted to take your income to the next level. You said you were tired of leaving money on the table and that it made sense to make a change. I mean, so what's changed or what's happened in the last 5 minutes? This is what you told me. People cannot argue with you on what they told you. Again, this is going to help you get more comfortable with sales. You got to relax. It's about positioning. When I meet with customers, here's the mindset when I meet with customers, and this is why God has blessed me that I'm so good at this. I don't need your business. I would appreciate your business. I'd love to have your business, but I don't need your business. Now, that's the mindset that you've got to have. That's the positioning you've got to have, even when that's not the case. Even when that is not the case, you still have to position yourself as the advisor. Again, you cannot have commission breath. Commission breath is like bad breath. Everybody hates bad breath. If you have commission breath, I'm trying to make this sale. I'm just so desperate. You put the ball in their court and they believe that they're in charge. My positioning is, hey, I love to do business with you, but it doesn't matter to me if I get your business or not. Same thing with pricing. Most salespeople are what I call price cowards. And here's how I know they're price cowards, because I used to be one. It took a really good friend of mine and a really good mentor who basically told me that. He says, you're a price coward. You're a price coward. You are afraid to give a customer the price. You are afraid to tell them what the price is. And so what ends up happening is you end up discounting the price. Guys, I want to be careful when I say this by saying don't ever discount the price. I don't want to say that. But when you understand your value, you'll stop giving discounts. So if you have a price, let's say I have a price that's $5,000, okay? And I may get, man, Steve, 5,000, that's a little too much. Okay, no problem. Well, here are the features, here are the 5 things that you get for this $5,000 price. So if $5,000 is not within your budget, the first thing it tells me is this: you really need our help, right? I mean, think about it, $5,000 a month. If you're struggling to pay $5,000 a month, then you probably really need our help. Would you agree? But I understand it. I understand that money can be tight sometimes, brand new business, whatever the case may be. So here are the 5 things you get for $5,000. You can do this in your business as well. Which one of these features would you like for me to remove? You want to remove 2 features for $3,000? 1 feature for $4,000? 4 features for $1,000? You tell me. Okay, so is it a feature or is it a time? Is it a feature that I'm removing or is it a time? Maybe for $5,000, you get 5 hours a month, right? For $5,000, you get to call myself. I'm making this stuff up, guys. You get to call my cell phone. For $5,000, you get access to me and 3 coaches. Maybe it's a time thing that you have in your business. Well, you don't get 5 hours, you only get 4 hours. Maybe you only get 3 hours. Maybe you get 2 features in 2 hours. But you don't discount it from 5,000 and keep all the same time and keep all the same features. I hope that helps you. Okay? So figure out what is it that you're going to remove. We got to stop being a price coward. Remember, the cost is what the cost is. The mindset is you're asking, what does it cost to work with me? What does it cost you if you don't? So let's make sure we continue to ask for agreement. Let's make sure we continue to stick with that. Don't be a price coward. Let's make sure we get rid of, oh God, what did she say? I had a customer, she was struggling and she was a coach and she was dealing with imposter syndrome. So we train other coaches as well. And she was dealing with imposter. She said, I don't know, I'm just feeling like this and feeling like that, imposter syndrome. I'm not telling you that the feeling of imposter syndrome is not real. Trust me, I know it's real. The thing is this: only you know it. Only you feel it. Only you, the person that's feeling it, deals with it. The people that come to you, they don't see it unless you show it to them. So here's the mindset that you got to have. Whatever the industry is that you're in, whatever it is that you're offering to the customer, and you may be feeling imposter syndrome, you're the only person that feels it. Here's the first thing, lots of things you can do, but here's the first thing you got to realize when that feeling starts to come over you. The person that's coming to you asking for help does not even have the level, or they're not even at the level that you are, because if they were, they wouldn't be coming to you for help. You're automatically viewed as the expert. I've hired coaches in my business, and it does not fail. Every single coach that I hire, eventually at the beginning we have this conversation. Oh, I don't know if I'm good enough. This person is so good, and this person did that, and I say, hey, listen. Get rid of that. You are the expert. Start seeing yourself as the expert. The reason they're here, the reason they hired us is because they're trying to get to the next level. They're trying to go here, and so they came to us for help. If they were already there, they wouldn't come to us for help. So they automatically view you as the expert. That's why they paid us this money. Everybody should have a coach. Everybody should have a coach. A coach doesn't necessarily mean that they're better in a particular area than you may be. The coach is the one who sees things, hears things that the player cannot see or hear. Did you hear that? Think about, I talk about Michael Jordan. So we all know who Michael Jordan is, and we know that Phil Jackson was Michael Jordan's coach. So do you think that Phil Jackson was a better basketball player than Jordan? Nope. Not a better basketball player than Jordan. But he's a better coach. He was able to coach Jordan to these championships because he saw things that Jordan didn't see. He had a skill set that Michael Jordan didn't have. He was able to see the big picture, and Jordan was a part of his system, a part of his picture. You got to think the same way in your business. You got to think the same way in sales if you are a coach. Doesn't mean that you're better, but you see things the other person does not see. I have coached, so I'm a sales trainer. I have coached people who have gone on to double my numbers. And I'm still coaching them today. And they still come back. They still come back for more coaching. And if on the outside looking in, they would say, well, they're better than you. Why are you coaching them? They're better than you. Because I see things they don't see. I hear things they don't hear. I'm able to put a system together that they may not be able to put a system in. So again, operating your gift, know who you are, know who you were created to be. When fear comes in, fear is going to try to always creep in. Don't let fear stop you. And for goodness sake, that imposter syndrome, you are not an imposter. God does not create imposters. You are real. And you are fearfully and wonderfully made. All right. So let's make sure we got that going on. So let's talk about eliminating weak questions, and then we'll be through here today. Eliminating weak questions. So we talked about stop saying, are you interested? Replace it with, would it make sense? Would you like to? Stop saying that. Replace it with, would that be a smart thing to do? Is it okay if I ask, or do you mind if I ask? Replace it with, help me understand. Do you mind if I show you? Replace it with, would it make sense for me to show you something different? Would it make sense if you saw it a different way? Or just hear me out on this. Have you considered this? And then you show them a different way. The power of questioning. This is the 3% mindset. So here's some of my favorite questions to ask. All right. And again, I use them every day. You got to start implementing them. And I'm telling you why. Would it make sense? This might be probably one of the most powerful buy-in questions that I ask. It's simple, it's emotional, it's not logical, and it's non-threatening. And then when I ask a customer that, would it make sense? Most of the times I get a yes, but even if I get a no, I go back to what we learned earlier on earlier podcast is really, tell me why not. Would it make sense to do A, B, and C, and D? No, not really. Really? Tell me why not. Tell me more about that. So don't ever feel like, oh, you get trapped. Just go to that question of really, why not? Same thing with would it be important to you? The reason that's important to ask that question because, again, it can't be my idea. It has to be your idea. So you got to tell me, would it be important to you to go to the next level? Let's finish up with the very last part of this. Let's talk about weak versions versus strong version and why this is so important. So let's bring everything to the end here. So weak version. Would you be interested in learning about our product, our service, our program? Would you be interested? That is a weak version, and unfortunately, that sounds like most salespeople. Strong version. If we could help you or help your team fill in the blank, whatever the product or service is, right? So if we could help you earn 6 figures, $100,000 a year, $250,000 a year, while more value, while creating accountability around activity. Again, I'm helping you solve the problems. If the person said my problem was accountability, my problem was activity, whatever the problem was, right? While creating accountability around activity, would it make sense to move forward? Would it make sense to hire us? Would it make sense to try my product or my service? That is a strong version. You've got to make sure that you're moving your questioning from weak versions to strong versions. You got to make sure that you're starting to position yourself as an advisor. Position yourself with agreement. Once again, you've got to make it easy for the customer to say yes when it makes sense. You got to make it hard for them to say no. And most importantly, it has to be their idea. Perfect. Now, here's your challenge. Got to make sure we have a challenge. I want you to just sit down by yourself, and I want you to pick out your buy-in questions. So you can write them all down, but I don't want you to try to use them all. I want you to pick out, let's start with 2. Pick out with 2 buy-in questions, whichever ones you like the most. As you can tell, my 2 favorite ones are would it be important to you and would it make sense? Pick out 2 buy-in questions that you like. In the next sales conversation you have with the customer, you got to implement both of them. You must implement both of them. So it's going to help if you write the questions down first, so that way you know in advance what you're going to ask the customer. And I guarantee you this, when your language begins to change, the conversation begins to change, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, your sales begin to change. All right, 3%ers, this has been your mindset shift for the week. Let's go out there, implement, and let's make sure that we get the job done. We'll see you in the next episode. Hoorah.